And we're live.
With Paranormal-Spirits, place come to get our booze on. We talk about the booze, the things that go bump in the night, and I get to do that with all my booze. I'm Mike Black. To my left, my beautiful, lovely, and talented wife, Alyssa Black.
Greetings.
Sitting across from me, the beautiful and talented John Burkett.
Salutations.
And tonight,
She
Alyssa...
had greetings, I'd say.
Greetings and salutations. Alyssa's bringing us a story tonight about a house that goes on forever. Well, not actually forever. It's like 160 rooms, sits on 160 acres, haunted AF, maybe.
So they say.
And out in California. But before we do that, let's talk about what we're drinking. Okay. What are you drinking tonight?
Ardbeg 10.
Not Wee Beastie.
Not Wee Beastie. I about finished it off. We only have a little bit left.
Of the Ardbeg 10? We got 2 bottles of Wee Beastie unless you had a really rough week.
No, this is the 10. Actually, I did that. I did the party foul where I left just enough so if anybody wanted any, you'd open it and you go. You
could sniff it.
I got literally a lick. Like, that's it. Wets the tongue, but that's it. It'd be good enough for me on a night that I just need a little nightcap.
Oh, okay.
Itty bitty.
Itty bitty. Where maybe our 15-pound dog needs a nightcap or something. You'd have that much left.
Bless him. He's 18 pounds,
okay.
but yes.
He needs to go on a diet.
He does.
John, what are you drinking?
Aberfeldy 12?
Aberfeldy 12. That's been stuck up in the back of my liquor cabinet for a long time. Do you like it?
It's okay. It's no Brooklotta. It's no Boonahoppin. It's no Tamdu.
Oh, Tamdu. Cast strength Tamdu? Is it anywhere near
Batch strength?
Oh, my God.
That's one I need to finish off because it's getting pretty low.
That is so good.
The one that you got for your birthday?
It's down to the part where it needs to be drank.
Is that a non-peated?
The Tamdu is non-peated, yeah.
Are they all non-peated Tamdus?
Mostly the peated stuff comes from Isla or where is it Highland Park comes from? Orkney.
Oh, I didn't know they had peated up there. Did they? I didn't know that.
Anywhere there's no trees, you got to have some way to stop the germination of the malt.
So I am drinking
Coke.
No, it's not, but it is a lot darker than yours.
Is it the same brand?
It's Ardbeg.
Oh.
But I'm drinking the Ugadal.
Oh.
The Ugadal, and I haven't gotten the other one yet. What's the other one?
Anoa is the one that I love.
It's not Anoa.
And then Korvakin.
Korvakin, that's the one that I don't have. I want to get the Korvakin.
Try the Anoa because it's not much more expensive. It's not a whole lot more expensive than the 10, but it is fantastic.
Oh, really?
I really enjoyed it, yeah. About $70 or so.
Does it have the ABV of the Ugadal?
It's a 90-something, yeah.
Yeah, the Ugadal's, I think, 92 or something like that. It's higher than the... No, because we figured out that was 92. This is over 100, I think.
It's up there.
Yeah.
Korvakin's over 100 for sure.
Yeah. So, Alyssa.
Yes.
Tell us your story.
Okay.
Tell me the spookies.
The spookies? All right. Well, let me find it. I lost my place. There we are. Got it. All right. Taking you to San Jose, California.
Do you know the way to San Jose?
Yep. That one.
Dun, 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 dun.
And if you couldn't have guessed what it was from the description, it is the Winchester Mystery House we're speaking of. All right. This house started as an 8-room farmhouse that is now a massive 24,000 square feet.
Jesus.
Consisting of 7 stories.
It's like a Walmart supercenter.
It sure is. 160 rooms, 13 bathrooms, 6 kitchens, 2,000 doors, 10,000 windows, 17 chimneys, 47 stairways and fireplaces, and 52 skylights.
That's not enough chimneys for all the fireplaces.
No, it's not. You're right.
That is a
Some
mystery.
of the fireplaces don't have chimneys. They're literally just fireplaces.
Probably not a good idea to
Never
light a fire
used.
in those.
No. What I thought was honestly the most interesting, 160 rooms to only 13 bathrooms.
That's a lot of bathrooms.
But you think about it, a lot of people now, like, they'll have 8 rooms and 10 bathrooms. Because you have one for each room, and then you have like a half bath, for your guests.
I have 3.
With what, 5-bedroom house?
2, 3 bedrooms, plus there's one upstairs above the garage which is also a bedroom.
Okay, so I did some quick math
That's a
on
bathroom
that.
as well. That has a bathroom.
Just for kicks and giggles. Mm-hmm. That is 12 rooms per bathroom.
It's like a dormitory.
That's 12, barracks or something.
Yeah.
But you wouldn't have people staying in all those rooms.
Well, I don't know who you got staying in those rooms.
Maybe
But it's 12.3 rooms per bathroom.
Yep. It's not a lot compared to the rooms. We'll say that. Fun fact, only one of them is actually working. There's only one working toilet in the whole room. Out of the 13, there's
one. You
one.
sure better not have people staying in 160
13
rooms.
bathrooms, only one of them works.
Only one of them works, and guess which one works? The one that's only a toilet with a giant window in front of it, so anybody walking past will see you on the John. Kind of a John, not you, John.
Where does this? I guess that's for staff use only, but
that's a good question. I don't know, but they said that was the only
I know
working
they
one.
do tours there, so I
They
guess
do.
where they got porta potties out back or what?
there's
Not
some
sure.
bushes and trees you could probably go.
They may have some in the garden. I don't know.
I don't know what the laws are in California, but I know here in Texas you can go to jail for that.
Have you ever seen the Folsom Street Fair in San Francisco? You can pretty much do anything you
Anywhere
want.
you want. Yeah.
Well, you
That's
can in
gross.
Austin as well, apparently,
Yeah.
on the city streets. So it was opened as a museum June 30th of 1923. So it celebrated its 100 years recently, last year,
When did Sarah die?
1922, September 5th of 1922.
So the next year it was.
Yeah, within 6 months, somebody had technically rented it because they couldn't afford to purchase it. And in its 100 years, it's had over 12 million guests.
That's a lot.
It's quite a lot.
Especially for one working bathroom. That's
So it was, as you just said, her name. It was built onto by Sarah Winchester, who was she was formerly called Sarah, but her given name is Sally, after her grandmother, and she was called Sally her whole life and signed her name that way. But from here on out, we'll call her Sarah because that's actually her birth name.
So how did she become Sarah?
I'm not sure. I don't understand the whole formally called Sarah versus named Sally, but called Sarah. But she was named Sally and went by Sally her whole life. Like, I don't understand why she's Sarah now. I don't get it.
Go ahead.
Not sure.
Sorry.
it's her middle name. It says here Sarah Sally Lockwood Winchester.
Well, maybe that's what it is then. Sarah was actually her first name, and then Sally her middle name. That's what she always went by.
It has Sally in quotations, like it's a
That's her name.
Something like
it's a
nickname.
nickname.
Nickname, yeah.
They said it was her grandmother's name, so that's what she went with. Later on, Sarah was one of her mom's sisters or something, or her actual sister. Anyway, just a kind of quick history on her. She was educated with a private French tutor and had music lessons. She came from a somewhat wealthy family. She grew up with a family that had somewhat wealthy. I mean, pretty wealthy.
Yeah.
I mean, they were
Like the Pope's kind of
Catholic. They were
Catholic.
wealthy. I mean, nothing actually ever says that, but you just know.
Probably not as wealthy as she became.
Absolutely not. No, not absolutely not. And neither were the Winchesters, to be honest. They became that way. She grew up with a family that had progressive ideas regarding religion, abolition, and her sister was noted to be a very strong animal activist that she supported later on in life. She was noted to be independent and reserved compared to her friends, which I thought was a little reminiscent of old Lizzie Borden that we talked about, how she was much more reserved, less social. And she had been childhood friends with William Winchester. William Wirt Winchester was the son of Oliver Winchester, and he was the treasurer of the Winchester Repeating Arms Company, a position that he held until his death in 1881. Sarah married William when she was 23 and he 25. They were married in 1862. They had a daughter named Annie who died in infancy. She was 5.5 weeks old. She died from marasmus, which is considered, nowadays it's like a failure to thrive. They have a malnutrition, typically protein malnutrition. Back in, in I think she was born in 1866. I mean, we didn't know what to do.
Yeah, marasmus.
Marasmus
I remember
is
hearing that term.
Well, because it's typically what you hear
an old
about
term.
in Africa with all the little kids that are super thin with their pot bellies.
So it's basically failure to thrive. Is
Yes.
what it is. Okay.
And, starvation in a way. I mean, the kids in Africa that you see like that, or in some of these third world countries, is typically due to poverty and a lack of food and starvation. They're kind of very thin with the the very swollen stomachs. Kids with marasmus have the same thing. They look very similar.
Right.
But that's all it said. It didn't really say anything else. And I mean, maybe they didn't know anything else in 1866. But after the death of their daughter, Sarah secluded herself for a year, and the couple became withdrawn. She was very affected by that. They never did have any other children.
Was this was when they were still in...
they are still in North Haven, Connecticut. I didn't mention that. Yes. So this is in North Haven, Connecticut. They built a home after the war, the Civil War, in Prospect Hill. And during construction, both became interested in architecture and design. So you will see in just a minute that they obviously had some money. Like, there's some money somewhere coming from somewhere. I don't know where. I mean, I don't know if it's the Winchesters or if it's both her and the Winchesters. I don't know. She learned about real estate and investing from her husband and her father-in-law. Oliver Winchester, the father-in-law, was a wealthy shirt manufacturer and was later the founder of the Winchester Repeating Arms Company, like I said before. In 1873, the Winchester Model 73 rifle was released, which is how it became the most popular, and it was later known as the gun that won the West. It's
because you had to have a Winchester.
You did, and it's also the subject of all of the hauntings later in this house, so it becomes the center point. The Winchester Model 73 rifle actually enjoyed a production run spanning 50 years. And during this period, over 720,000 rifles were manufactured.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, we got one.
You do?
Mm-hmm.
So their home in Prospect Hill in New Haven was...
couple, in fact. Different calibers. But.
Really? Was completed in 1868 with 20,000 square feet. So Sister Friend is used to big houses.
Oh, my God. Yeah.
It only had 20 rooms, though, with noted marble floors, fireplaces, and chandeliers, large windows with intricate plasterwork ceilings, and a circle drive. I've always wanted a circle drive.
I bet it did.
Unfortunately, Sarah's father died in 1869. They continued to live in New Haven for the next 11 years. But between 1880 and 1881, Sarah lost her mother first, then her father-in-law. And Oliver Winchester died in 1880, left the company to William, who was seriously ill with tuberculosis at the time. And he only lived 3 more months.
Oh, my gosh.
Actually, I think the father must have died in 1881 because I believe William died in December of 81. So he died 3 months after at the age of 43, leaving his fortune, $20 million reportedly.
Ooh, what's that in
Oh, my God.
today money?
A lot.
A lot. He left.
Probably in the
And
billions.
so $20 million plus 50% of the Winchester repeating arms stock.
How much?
50%, which actually was 777.
So who got the other 50? Do you know?
I don't know. I don't know if it was spread
Or
between
split
the
between some.
I'm not
Yeah,
sure if it was
probably.
no the mom, his mom.
Oh,
His
William's
mom had a big chunk of it.
Gotcha.
Just to go back, what I didn't say, John, in this house, the Winchester house, it was $5 million in 1923. It is now $71 million. So that's kind of the ratio right there. And that was 1923. So
Probably cost that much just to get the other 12 bathrooms going now.
So William died at 43. Sarah was 40 at the time of William's death. She, as I said, inherited 777 shares of Winchester Repeating Arms Company stock worth $77,700 at the time. And then her mother-in-law died in 1898. So about 17 years later, and Sarah then inherited another 2,000 shares, which was $400 a share at the time. So, by this time, Sarah's got a lot of money.
You ain't lying.
By the way, you could still buy a new Winchester 1873.
Can you?
Mm-hmm. Yep. It's not cheap. It's about $1,400 starting.
Now, mind you, the mother-in-law didn't die until 1898. She moved to California in 1885, so she didn't actually get that other half until we were well into construction on the home. So Sarah moved to California after losing so many family members. She was also urged by her physician to move to a drier, warmer climate as she had rheumatoid arthritis. Her father had passed away from that.
Oh, wow.
Is what they believe he died from.
I didn't know people died from old Arthur.
Mm-hmm. You can. She chose San Francisco area as she had visited with her husband and enjoyed the area. She convinced other family members, namely 2 sisters and one of the sisters' sets of children, and supported them for the rest of their lives. She moved to California in 1885 and bought the farmhouse on Los Gatos Road, or The Cats.
The Cats.
Uh-huh. It was 2 stories then in 1886, and they called it Llanada Villa.
Llanada?
You're not a villa.
Yeah. Llanada Villa. The Spanish name Llanada Villa translates to house on flat land, or house on the plain in English. She named it this because the 45-acre property reminded her of Llanada Alavesa in the Basque region of the northern Spain and southwest France area.
Well, it reminded me of that, too.
Did
Yeah.
it? Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. She'd visited there before. Sarah's favorite niece, Marion Daisy Merriman, moved into the house.
Say that 3 times fast.
Yeah. Moved into the house in 1888 and lived there with Sarah for the next 15 years until she marries Frederick Marriott Jr. in 1903.
The hotel?
Wait.
Not
Oh.
a hotelier. Is that how you... Is that...
Consigliere.
Not an innkeeper.
Yeah, no, he was not the hotel family. Mm-mm. Though I did look that up because I thought, how interesting would that be? When she moved to Llanada Village, it was reported her intention was to house her entire family. But this never happened due to the secluded location and also because of constant construction. Mm-hmm. Interestingly, the majority of the renovations and constructions to the house was paid for by the fortune amassed from shirt manufacturing, not from the guns.
Because Winchester owned...
Winchester Shirt Company.
Yeah, it's in some of the Davies, Winchester and Davies, I think, New Haven.
But they say that they said it was from guns because blood money from guns sounds scarier and
Hell
more,
yeah.
woo, you
It's
know?
a lot spookier than all the
Shirt money.
all the ghosts running around in the white shirts.
Because if you think about it, at the time when he died in 1881, she inherits, it's worth $77,700, which, yes, that's a lot of money, but not what it became.
Right.
But, however, he did have $20 million that she also got at the time.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, but just from the Winchester arms, though,
Yeah.
at the time was not as much as it was later when the mother-in-law died. So it is reported that the house grew to 26 rooms within the first 6 months of Sarah purchasing the home.
Holy crap. They was getting it.
Yeah. Very intricate detailing in the house to include mahogany and teakwood flooring, stenciled ceilings, Austrian art glass. It's pastel colored glass in areas. German chandeliers. She had an elaborate botanical garden with shrubs, trees, and flowers from over 110 countries. She was very interested in architecture, and when she started construction on the home, she didn't have an overall plan. She just worked room by room.
Clearly.
Obviously.
Yeah.
As evidenced by...
When something was not built as she wanted, she tore it down and rebuilt it. But at times would
That
wait.
get expensive.
Yeah, well, at times she would wait long periods before returning to it, which is why construction was so long and drawn out. So it was almost like she got ADD. Like she's like, I didn't like that. Tear it down.
Squirrel.
Like tear it down. Oh, okay. I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that. Like there is a letter that she wrote to a friend that I found that describes a stairwell that led to another floor. Mm-hmm. And she states in there that when the stairwell moves to the next floor, it's very dark and it was causing people to trip and fall. So she tore down a wall, added a skylight, But plastering had to be done, and that could not be done in the summer, she said. So she had to wait for cooler weather. But then she became worn out and tired and dismissed the workers to wait out the winter.
Why would plastering have to wait till cooler weather? Does it cure too fast or something?
Maybe back then
Yeah.
they didn't have.
That'd be the only thing I could think of, that it would cure too fast, and then if it cured too fast, it would crack, or it would cure too fast on the outside and the inside was still
Nobody
soft
really
or something.
plasters nowadays. You use the mud from the box. And
we digress.
Well,
what year was this? I'm converting the money.
1886.
1880. Oh, sorry, I had 1889, but probably about the same.
Mm-hmm.
That's 681,626. So yeah, so almost $700 million
In our time.
in 2024 dollars.
Yeah.
So, like, in this letter, she stated the wall had been taken out over a year prior to when she's waiting it out for the winter. So this is how long we're talking here. Like, long.
This is the one she put the skylight in,
Yes.
the wall. Yeah.
She had originally taken out the wall and then put in a new one with a skylight so you wouldn't trip over the door or the floor.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, over a year. We just, yeah.
We
But-
got sidetracked.
And you hear that she was kind of miserly in a way, that she worked her contractors to death and that was constantly moving, and like all of this construction was constant, when in fact she would excuse them for long periods of time because
As evidenced by the
yes.
fact they have to wait till
she
winter.
She literally dismissed the workers. She didn't make them go do something else. They're like, okay, we're just going to stop this. That doesn't mean there weren't other projects going on, but I guess for like maybe that activity, there were people milling about that house all the time, they said. She did have plumbing and electrical systems installed, which was new at the time.
Just for one bathroom, though.
Yes. I mean, eventually it was 13, but there was an indoor garden that was watered by an irrigation system, and the floors sloped, and they channeled water to trap doors that then piped water out to flower boxes outside.
Wow.
So it wasn't all of the floors, but it happened to be like this one like botanical area, like conservatory type thing. And it had just slightly sloping, and then it would have like little drains in the corners.
It was like Willy Wonka built this house or something.
Essentially. And then it went out to like little flower boxes because she liked flowers. As I said, it started out as 2 stories, was later 5 stories high in some areas. Not every area, but some areas. And then there was a 7-story tower that allegedly was rebuilt 16 times until she was happy with it. There are switchback staircases with gradual stairs instead of average steps. So they were literally come back like hairpin, like come back this way.
Because of her arthritis?
Because of her arthritis.
Okay.
So that ascending normal steps was difficult.
Gotcha.
So she built them very shallow.
So at a very shallow or
Yes.
gradual slope.
Mhm.
Okay.
But that's why there's switchbacks, because you didn't have enough room. She had to keep coming back this way to elevate. The house was originally 45 acres, but eventually expanded to the 160 acres it is now. Main construction occurred from 1890 to 1900. On April 18th, 1906, around 5 a.m., was the 7.8 magnitude on the Richter scale earthquake of San Francisco.
Oh, wow.
This is the one with the fire.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
It was cataclysmic. Over 3,000 people were killed, and the property damage was already bad enough throughout the area, but then it started massive fires, as you said, that tore through the region, which caused even more damage.
So it affected her house as well?
Yes.
Because I know she's out.
I mean,
more
San
like
Jose.
I don't.
That's not in the city. That's way down south.
Yeah. But 7.8 magnitude. Wood
You're going to
structure
feel it.
Yeah, I was going to say.
I mean,
wood
the
structure-
fires would not have, but the earthquake, would have.
Yeah, 7.8 magnitude, and you're talking that stretches out a long way, and you're talking about a wooden structure that's 7 stories at some point.
San Jose is like where Google and all that is. Like,
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
However, 2.5 miles south of the Winchester home in Campbell, horrible flooding was caused when 2 60,000-gallon water tanks collapsed.
Holy crap.
So you had fires, and you had flooding, and then you had the Winchester house,
So it was
which
the
was
end of the world.
that's what it seemed like in that area. The Winchester house was also severely damaged, leaving the 7-story tower that she rebuilt 16 times demolished. It was so badly damaged that they just demolished the whole thing and most of the 3rd and 4th floors. It collapsed the tower. 3rd and 4th floor additions and most of the chimneys were gone. I mean, they were demolished to the damage so much that they demolished them. Tile, plaster, and woodwork was destroyed. The areas were cleaned and the house was made safe for inhabitants, but no further construction was ever done. So in 1906, construction ceased forever.
Oh, wow.
Never to be worked on again.
So she just cleaned up the mess, or had the mess cleaned up, of these additional floors that, I guess, collapsed.
Yes.
And just left it.
Yep. So pipes stuck out in places. Stairways led to apparent ceilings. Then that's why people are like, these stairways go to nowhere and these doors are nowhere, but there used
Because
to be something.
She never rebuilt
Yes.
the floor above it. Okay.
So the stairways lead to apparent ceilings, but there was once additional floors. And then the doors opened to nothing, but those were once balconies.
They fell off during
But
the
they fell
earthquake.
off, and then she never touched it again.
That makes sense.
So it makes her look like an absolute crazy. So she was purported by media to be crazy due to these strange architecture mysteries, when in fact it was just the result of unrepaired damage.
Wonder why she didn't.
Sarah herself said of her house in the quake's aftermath, "It looks as though it has been built by a crazy person." The only addition made after the earthquake was an elevator installed in 1916. Don't know why she did that. I guess because of her RA.
Let's go. Why didn't she do it before that?
Well, the thing is, what I found
Especially
interesting...
with arthritis.
Too dangerous. People get their heads cut off in those things.
Well, what you don't know, though, when you hear about the fact that she didn't do any further construction, was the fact that this was not her primary home anymore.
Oh.
She moved to Atherton, which is nearby, and that's where she had another home. And she lived there most of the time.
Oh.
And it was said in some articles that I read that she supposedly was in the house during the earthquake, in the Winchester house during the earthquake, and was trapped for a couple of hours in the ballroom or something, her and her niece. But then I read that she actually wasn't there, that she was in Atherton, and she came and saw it later. I don't know. You know, I mean,
Everybody's got a different
You're
story.
going to have a different story. But what I do know is that when building ceased, that completed the 38 years of construction, and she still holds the Guinness Book of World Records for the most continuous house construction.
And that was in
1906 is when she stopped. So it was 38 years of continuous construction on a home.
Wow. And she still holds a record?
Yep.
Wow.
So she's like got tied with the TxDOT for highway construction. Right?
No, I think they beat her out in that. Are you kidding?
Well, it said home construction, not road construction.
Not road construction. Yeah.
So,
The perpetual state of road construction in Texas.
she was known as a philanthropist, and she went on to donate over $1 million. The first $300,000 she donated anonymously to the tubercular ward in New Haven, where her husband,
who died of tuberculosis.
Yes, it carried the name of him.
Oh.
And it
should.
yeah, and it opened in 1914. She was in the later stages of worsening rheumatoid arthritis by 1920 and rarely left her home in Atherton. That's where she was most of the time. She moved back to Yanata Village in September of 1922 and died September 5th of 1922. So she wasn't there but a couple of days.
So you're calling this Yanata Villa as opposed to
the Winchester Mystery
House.
Yeah.
Is there a reason? I mean...
Well, that's the way it never was Winchester Mystery House until she died.
Oh, okay.
So for her, she was returning to Yanata Villa.
Gotcha.
But yes, it's the Winchester Mystery House. I guess I
Okay.
kind of switched back and forth. Sorry, I should.
And that's fine. I wanted to clarify if was that out of respect for her and that's what she called it, or what?
Well, because it didn't actually get the Winchester Mystery House name until it was sold in 1923.
Gotcha.
Or 1922. She was buried in New Haven next to her husband and daughter.
Oh.
So, like I said, 38 years of construction actually halted upon her death. So there was no further construction other than the elevator in 1916. But they're doing the 38 years is how they say that, how many years of construction, which really would have been about 1916, probably.
Okay.
Might have been her death, though. What's 1886 to 22? Is that 38?
It's math.
Math.
36. That's like 36. So.
Well, it could have been that maybe all new construction.
Yeah, maybe that's what it
ceased.
was. Yeah, because that's
And then
longer than 38
the only
years.
other construction would be upkeep and repairs, which would still be considered construction, but not new construction.
Maybe. I just know that the Guinness Book of World Records says 38.
Got you. Well, I'd go with Guinness.
I would too. The mansion was sold in 1922. Daisy Marriott, the niece, inherits $3,000. Didn't seem like a lot. The contents and personal
Not
items.
compared to $20 million.
No, but they said that she actually, by the time of her death, that it wasn't worth as much. She had invested very, very well and never wanted for money, never needed any, but it was not worth what it had been. She was not getting as much.
Probably because all those staircases lead to
Crazy
nowhere.
ass
No
building.
balconies.
Nobody wants to live there.
The contents and personal items from Sarah's two homes, the one in Atherton that she purchased in 1910 and then Yanata Villa, were also given to Daisy. And then the income from a $200,000 trust fund, Daisy received for the rest of her life. So all of this stuff went to this one niece.
Wow.
In April of 1923, John and Mamie Brown leased the villa and the grounds and moved their family. They couldn't afford to buy it, I think is what they said, so they leased it. They originally planned to create a park with a replica of the wooden roller coaster that John built at a Canadian amusement park and planned to name it Backety Back Railway. But that was never built due to local restrictions.
Alrighty then.
Yeah. The family noted the overwhelming public interest in the house and they decided to open it for tours. The gardens became Winchester Park that allowed for picnicking and outdoor enjoyment. And Harry Houdini visited the house in 1924 to prove wrong the paranormal stories, but left without any proof that this was false and named it the Mystery House.
So Harry Houdini called it
Yes.
the Mystery House.
The house was marketed as the Winchester Mystery House in the 1930s.
So when you say Harry left without proving,
So he went there because spiritualism was huge in the Victorian era, right?
Right.
Like at this time. Lots of famous people were into it.
and he was very much.
He very much was. So there was reports that there was...
Well, he was into debunking it.
He
Well-
was, but he wanted it to be real, and so that he could talk to. I think it was his mother.
It was
wasn't
his wife that he left a code word with that only they knew that it would
Right.
be. And yeah, it was his
Right.
wife. Yeah.
But
Mrs.
he
Houdini.
wanted to talk to his mother who had passed, and he went to several mediums for seances to be able to speak to his mother, and he would always find them out and figure out what they
Yeah.
were doing. So he would debunk it. And he wanted it, but he wanted it to be real. He wanted there to be an afterlife and there to be a way to communicate with those.
And he could not disprove it here. So when I'm saying like he went there to prove it wrong, that there was nothing paranormal
And
there.
he found nothing to disprove it.
Correct.
Oh, okay.
And that's why he called it the Mystery House.
Because he couldn't disprove.
Right.
Okay.
Mr. and Mrs. Brown, the ones that had leased the home, died in 1945 and 1951 respectively, and the house is then incorporated in 1963. In 1970, the mansion and gardens restoration begins, and some rooms were furnished. Because remember, all the furnishings were sent to the niece.
Mm-hmm.
All the contents of the house.
She got it. So it's empty.
It was empty, yes. But they started to furnish some of the rooms. Now, I say empty. You find out later that there are some things that were left there. For instance, numerous panes of Tiffany glass, like stained glass, that was never put up. That had intention. So now, at one point, it was never out. When I was reading about people that have gone here multiple times, at one point it was never out for public, and then recently, apparently, it was put in the front room. And so when you walk in, all you see is all these different panes of glass.
Oh, wow.
That have like different, intricate details. At this time in 1970, a gift shop was opened and guided garden tours began because there's a huge garden there. There's some lots of statues of Hebe, eternal youth and old age, prime of life and forgiveness, cup bearer to the gods, goddesses of Mount Olympus.
Roman? Okay, Greek. Okay.
But apparently it's a very beautiful garden. Many different, I told you, I mean, it had 110 different countries with plants from 110 different countries. In 1974, it was listed on the National Register of Historic Places. They continually start doing some upkeep. In 2016, the parlor hallway is restored using 130-year-old wallpaper from a stockpile of Sarah's.
Huh.
This wallpaper was also used in 2017 to restore one of the dining rooms.
The wallpaper was still good in 2017.
That tells you how good it was made back then.
It's true.
You know?
I'm anti-wallpaper,
you can-
period, but
Yeah, but you can go into old houses now that still have the original wallpaper, you know?
there's still some 70s wallpaper in my house. Yeah. But one of these days, that's all getting scraped off. And
Is it? They also made new pieces of wallpaper from molds of the old patterns, which I thought was kind of cool.
That's cool.
The Explore More tour debuts in May of 2017, where guests are allowed to enter the house from the front doors for the first time.
Explore more.
where would they go before?
Pick
Another
one.
What
door.
door? Just
Yeah, pick
Another
one.
door.
Just never the front doors. Dozens of never before seen by the public rooms are opened. Like dozens of never before seen by the public rooms are open.
Mm-hmm.
June 30th, 2023 marked 100 years the mansion had been open for tours. The funnest fact that I found when researching her was the name of her doctor.
What was the name of her doctor?
Dr. Euthanasia Mead.
You're a liar.
I am not a liar.
You are full of
I
shit.
am not a liar.
That is not her name.
I looked it up, and it sure as heck was her name. And there's even a signature of her name on Wikipedia if you look it up.
Wow.
Euthanasia. So then I looked and wanted to know, like, maybe she was doing, like, maybe that's how we got the word euthanasia. Yeah, no. That's a Greek word with, like...
Dr. Kevorkian. Euthanasia.
Euthanasia Mead.
Wow. Mm-hmm. Over some of that Tiffany glass. Wow.
It's very beautiful. So let's talk about the paranormal stuff.
Well, I have to say, the person that sold them that...
Euthanasia Mead.
Mm-hmm.
That truly is her name, and it's spelled this Euthanasia Mead, who became her personal physician until Mead died in 1895.
Okay, so there was a guy who was a San Francisco agent for Winchester Repeating Arms and took him on a tour, and that's when they found the home. This guy's name, Ned Rambo.
Rambo.
A guy named
course it
Rambo,
is.
who is the local agent for the
Winchester
Arms Company. Yeah, named
Winchester
Rambo.
Repeating Arms, I'm sorry.
Love it. Love it. So, there's obviously some stories of hauntings because it's old and she, was thought to be a little bit kooky. I'll explain some of the things why
She's
they
a
think
weirdo.
that. Yeah. So, one of the hauntings that's reported frequently is Clyde, who was a mustached worker at the house and has been seen in the basement pushing a wheelbarrow and also attempting to repair the ballroom fireplace.
Not an orangutan.
Nope. He's been reported to wear white overalls and a Victorian boater hat. There is a picture, like you can find it online of it's like 8 different workers standing in front of a tree in front of the house. He's the one on the far right.
Oh,
I'll
so
find
there's
it
a
for you.
picture of him?
Yeah, there's a picture of him, and he
Alive.
is straight up, yes,
Right.
mustached, white overalls, exactly how people are seeing him pushing this wheelbarrow in the basement. People have reported shirts and skirts being tugged during ghost tours that are offered at the mansion, which I feel like you hear that all the time.
Mm-hmm.
The maintenance worker Denny, one of the stories that he reports, he stated he heard footsteps. He was in the water tower early one morning. He heard footsteps above him, and he ascended the stairs quickly to notify this guest that
Hey, you're in a place
you're in a restricted area. You can't be here. And as he kept going up the stairs, the footsteps just kept going one floor up and one floor up, till finally he followed it to the rooftop, and there was no one there.
He jumped.
Well, there was nobody at the bottom either. So, shadow figures have been reported in the hallways, around corners, and in windows. There's one picture taken of the front of the house where it appears that there's an apparition that's looking into the garden. But is it just a reflection of the clouds or a true apparition? It's one of those that's hard to see. I'll have to find it for you. Maybe we can put it on there.
Okay. Yeah, I'll throw it up if you give it to me.
Zach Bagans.
Zach.
Let me guess.
Zach attack.
Let me guess. He was affected when he came in there. His joints hurt because Sarah had rheumatoid arthritis.
Or he made Aaron go into some tiny, uncomfortable, scary space alone.
Probably the toilet area. That's the only one working with the giant window. That's right next to I believe it's right next to the stairwell that has the, there's a stained glass window it's inside the wall that never will receive light.
Oh, wait, I got it. They picked up a voice that said, "Tell them about the guns."
I'm a Native American spirit.
Tell them about the girl.
Tell them about the guns.
So honestly, I have not seen that episode.
I have.
I know that you guys have,
but it's been years. That was
Yeah.
many. See, we're on season 28. Started today or last night. So that's how far. Like that was way back.
yeah, it was.
Yeah.
That's back when Nick was with him. Like way long time ago.
So he's been there, of course. Sylvia Brown, the famous psychic, has been there.
Oh, yeah.
And medium James Van Prague had visited.
Sylvia Brown, I actually
No.
would lend myself to believing anything she said, but
I'm not familiar with her.
I remember her.
She's no Cindy Kaza.
Of course not. Nobody is. Van Prague reports channeling Sarah during a seance, and she reported that Sarah said she was happy the house had so many visitors. Which is questionable because she refused to be a hostess to 2 different U.S. presidents upon their visits to the area.
I was going to say, everything that I've read about her in the past, she did not like the publicity and everybody trying to get into her business, so to speak.
Who would that have been back then? Roosevelt, Teddy, McKinley, right?
I have read that
Maybe
she turned
Taft.
down Roosevelt, and Roosevelt said, "I didn't want to go out to that damn place anyway." So
He said that he didn't give a shit about staying
Yeah.
there anyway.
So, yeah, Roosevelt was one of
It's
them.
interesting because a Winchester 1894 is what he always carried on safari and hunting.
Yeah.
That was his.
But the thing is that that's a legend because it's not true because the president had no interest in meeting Winchester or stopping at the home because stopping at the home could have been used to promote rifle sales. So he actually theoretically never went to the
How many
Winchester
pictures
home.
there are of Teddy Roosevelt with his Winchester model 1894 sitting on top of a dead African animal or a bear. I mean, that was his favorite
It's his pastime.
rifle.
Mm-hmm.
Winchester
And
model.
the first in 1901 was President McKinley. He visited, and a committee to arrange accommodations was formed, but Winchester did not extend an invitation. And then it was Roosevelt.
Yeah, it's a Winchester 95. I misspoke that he's always every picture you see of him hunting, he's holding a Winchester model 95.
Got you. They said despite there being plausible reasons for her not wanting to host the presidents, these are furthering the rumors that she was not of sound mind and nuts. Because who wouldn't want to host a president, right?
Well,
A lot of people, actually.
people probably wouldn't want to.
But that's what people were thinking.
It's the maid's week off. I can't have you.
Depends on the president.
Yeah. So, and as Mary Jo Ignafo writes in The Captive of the Labyrinth, which is, the labyrinth is the house in her book. Neighbors who wished to know her or have access to her were rebuffed. To the local people, she was an enigma. They did not know what to make of her. Eventually, they just made fun. All Sarah wanted was some damn privacy, supposedly. Oh, you brought the bottle in here.
Just a tiny, like 1.5 fingers.
Like 2 fingers
We're
together?
talking about
Yeah, so 2 fingers.
So,
Okay.
so for those of you who are listening on the podcast, John is asking me to pour him some Ugadol.
Ugadol.
Yeah, that's what I said, Ugadol.
That's good.
Okay,
Thank
there
you.
you go. 1.5 fingers.
Okay. Yeah, that's exactly 1.5 fingers. Okay.
I'm your bartender.
So, One of the things in the house is that the rumors that Sarah dabbled in spiritualism, like we're talking about Houdini in the Victorian age, right? Which is a hot topic at the late 1800s, early 1900s. Tour guides report that there's evidence within the house. Number one being the prevalence of the number 13, which tickles me. I freaking love all of these. It's so freaking cool. 13 bathrooms. 13 hooks in some closets. 13 blue and amber stones in the windows she designed. 13 ceiling panels in the entry hall. 13 windows in the 13th bathroom. How do they know which bathroom was the 13th is what I want to know. I guess the last one that was ever built.
13 windows?
In the 13th bathroom.
In the 13th bathroom.
Yep.
That's a lot of windows in a bathroom.
I'm going to say, man, exhibition is much.
Oh, it gets crazy. She's got, what did I say? 10,000 windows in this place?
Yeah.
13 paned windows. Like, so the windows all have 13 panes. Some, I don't know if all of them, but some of them. 13 paneled ceilings. 13 step flights of stairs. The Daisy Room, which was her favorite flower, and also the nickname of her niece, has stained glass windows of daisies, each with 13 petals. I counted them. They really do.
Okay.
I sure did.
Okay.
Her will had 13 parts, and she signed it 13 times.
One
Obviously.
for each part.
One for each part. There's a bell tower in the house, and the only time the bell is rung is on Friday the 13th and on the anniversary of her death, and it's rung 13 times. I was like, I loved it. That's so much fun.
So everybody assumed that she was into spiritualism, and everybody, I mean, I know the reporters back then had a heyday with it.
Well, supposedly some of these things were added after her death.
Is there any family left or friends that say, hey, that's bullshit? She didn't really do that. Oh, okay.
No, I don't think so.
So we can't.
She didn't have a lot of family to begin with. And so, it doesn't ever say that they asked her sisters or any of the family that lived there.
I'm just curious if there could have been, somebody to say, to rebuff that,
Yeah. Aside from the 13, the prevalence of 13, there's also a spider-webbed window, multiple spider-webbed windows. So it looks like a spider web made with the panes. However, that was a popular architectural addition
back in
the Victorian era. Yeah. But it looks creepy. Yeah, right?
The Addams Family.
It adds to it, right? There was a
spider web.
There's a presence of a seance room. They said it's like upstairs. I think they call it the witch's circle or something. It's it looks like the top of a circular tower. And that they name it the seance room when you go through the tours. Dude, I don't know if we knew she had seances or not.
Actually went on there. Could have been the orgy room.
Look at this pipe organ. That's crazy.
Yeah, there's a pipe organ in one of the rooms.
These wooden ceilings are amazing.
There's, of course, like I said earlier, the reported stairs to nowhere, which was, like I said earlier, was leftovers of unrepaired structural damage after the earthquake. There's uneven floors and stairs, also could have been done to damage. Corridors to nowhere, doors that don't open, windows that overlook other rooms in the house. If that's not creepy as hell. You're in a room, look up, somebody's looking at you from a window up above you into the room. Yeah, isn't that crazy?
Yeah, that's weird.
There's one door. If you open one door, there's a 15-foot drop into the garden. It's at the front of the house, and actually there's a little name tag underneath it that says door to nowhere. Actually, it does go somewhere. When you walk out of it, you're going to land in the garden.
Wow.
My favorite, though...
probably keep that one locked for safety.
Idea.
I think they do. My favorite, though, is there's a step... There's another door that if you step into it, you will travel through an open air shaft and land in a kitchen sink 8 feet below you.
I guess if you were just lazy and you finished your meal, you scrape it out the door into the
sink.
So
yeah.
You had a sinkerator or something that would chew your food up.
There's a cabinet door that if you open the cabinet door, it opens into a grouping of 30 more rooms. They called it a hive. Isn't that crazy?
That's weird.
There's 160 rooms.
Yeah.
I mean, good Lord. So, one of the stained glass windows, reportedly the most expensive one, that was supposed to be Tiffany & Co. glass, is in an inner wall that never sees the light of day.
That way, there's no way that a hailstorm or anything could break it.
Is that what it is?
Yeah.
But you can also
Keep
never
it
see
safe.
the beauty of
I was
the
gonna say, you never see
colors.
the beauty of
You
the
could
glass.
put some lights behind it. No, it had electricity now. They could have just put light bulbs behind it.
That's
Same
true.
effect.
There are some rooms that have one way in and one way out, but those ways are not the same.
What?
You can't enter the room and go back out the same way because
Why
the door
not?
doesn't open that way. You have to go out another way.
It does if you don't close it. You put a doorstop in there.
That's what they said. I don't
So
know.
the door.
There's
the door
one way in
opens.
and one way out.
Well, how
and
can
those
it not, a
ways are
hinge
not the
works
same.
both ways. I don't understand.
That'd be. I don't know how you design that. I believe that someone.
I've never
says-
been to the
has
house,
written
so
that,
I
but-
don't know.
Yeah, I know, but I'm just saying that.
I don't know.
I'm thinking from a mechanical engineering standpoint.
I don't
would
see
you
how it
create-
works. I don't see how it works.
Well,
If
it'd
you
be like
open the-
if it was a bellows door, something that was designed like the old fire bellows where the air could come in but it couldn't come out, as you work the bellows. So if it was a bellows style contraption, you could do it that way, but that would, I don't know. how
Unless
you do
it's
that
like
with door.
a Willy Wonka house where it's like
I guess.
It
The-
is
the-
a Willy Wonka.
It is
house.
a Willy
the
Wonka
stair
house.
disappears as you open the door. So when you go back to open it, you're going to fall the
Yeah.
8 feet into the sink. So you got to go somewhere else.
Weird.
There are some rooms that have no windows, which is very disorienting. And then there's others that have only a skylight.
These are big skylights too.
There is the Hall of Fires where the wall is lined with fireplaces.
Chimneys too?
No,
No, okay.
just
Of course not.
fireplaces.
It is an this is an intercom system.
There is an intercom system. She had one, but that's not what it was
Like
called.
an 18 annunciator. The
It's annunciator. Yeah, that she had in there.
From way back then.
Yeah, she had all kinds of stuff that, I mean, like I said, she had, restrooms and irrigation systems that they didn't have.
I love the room with the organ in it and the bookshelves and the wood, these elaborate wood ceilings and stuff and paneling on I love this room.
It's really neat.
I want to put a big old leather club chair in a room just like this with a bar that's in a globe
with your
with
your
some scotch
in there.
and yes, and
Yeah,
some
okay.
beautiful baccarat crystal glasses and stuff, and then just sit by the fireplace. And
the room that I would like to see is the South Conservatory, which has over 200 paned windows, which is the room with the most windows in the house, including one in the floor. There's a window in the floor, and it's not at ground level, so you can see underneath what's happening in it. It's a couple of feet deep, and then you can see where it goes out to like where the ground, like there's probably water and stuff that kind of drains out from underneath there. But it's a full, like a normal window
But it's in
that's
the floor.
just flat. Almost like a glass bottom boat, but we got a
Yeah.
glass bottom room,
That's weird.
and you don't go out it. It's just in the floor.
That's creepy.
It's like she just was like, what can I do?
What weird
What's
thing
different?
can I do? Yeah.
What can I do? Let's do this. Like,
Like the rules didn't apply to her.
right. So she was said
When you
to,
got that much money, they really
the
don't.
contractor must have just been
well, like I said,
sure.
Could you imagine though being
Okay.
the contractor working for her?
Okay.
oh no, she'd have been a crazed. Can you imagine? Well, especially because she didn't have any plans.
Yeah.
She did it room by room. Can you imagine this dude was like,
Clearly,
ma'am,
she had no plan.
ma'am, you want to do what?
You want to put a window where?
Sure,
You
you're
batty
paid your
crazy.
your
Hey.
money.
You paying me,
Your
and I
dime.
heard she paid her help quite well. So
Okay, so she was said to have received instructions for building plans, possibly through seances from the dead. Told her how to build, and that she was building and continuously building to appease.
all those killed by the Winchester
Or
rifle.
it's also said that she was were to drown out or appease the spirits of the souls killed by the Winchester rifle that cursed her inheritance, which is what you'll always hear. That's
Yeah.
why she was outrunning the demons or the spirits of the people that were killed by the Winchester rifles.
Yeah, that's what Zach said.
Well,
I
then,
remember.
by God, it must be so. I mean, Zach said it.
I
It
don't
was
know.
said-
Henry invented the repeating rifle. It wasn't even Winchester.
It was said that the house was laid out in a type of labyrinth to confuse ghosts and spirits that haunted her and allowed her to live in peace. Another report states she was told to move to California by a psychic to build a resting place for the souls that had taken her loved ones' lives or she would be next to die. She believed as long as she kept building, they would spare her life. Thought that the multitude of winding stairwells were built to confuse the spirits, as they are said to only travel in straight lines.
Horse hockey. They just go through walls, go wherever they want.
I've actually read that.
So if you turn a corner, it can't get you.
Yeah, it's like I want to say in some of the Asian countries, they have that belief that the spirits can only move in a straight line, and that's why
they can't turn.
They can't turn, and that's why the stairwells leading up to temples are.
And the bridges throughout some of their like Japanese gardens are zigzagged.
Yeah.
Why they zigzag them. She reportedly slept in a different bedroom every night to keep the spirits on their toes. So while there's a master bedroom that was said to be her bedroom,
she didn't sleep in it.
They said that she slept in every room to keep the spirits at bay away from her, which is 160 to pick from.
Yeah, she's nuts. I'm pretty sure that a ghost could go wherever it wants to within that building.
She was reported to wear all black with a black veil, which you'll see like if you watch the Winchester movie. She used fancy walking canes, which her fingers were gnarled from the from the rheumatoid arthritis, which gives her a very witchy image.
Isn't there like reports of seeing the black veiled woman roaming the halls?
Yeah, I'll get to that in a minute.
Okay, I'm sorry.
She was reported to use horse-drawn carriages even after the advent of the car. But she was reported to be in cars as well. She didn't like to be seen, though, especially when she was real later in life. She couldn't get around as well. She was in a lot of pain. So I read reports where she would take her staff, would go out, and somebody would go into the place and shop for her and bring it out to her in the car for her to look at. And then she decided she wanted to keep said clothing or whatever. She wouldn't get out much.
Yeah.
The horse-drawn carriage rumor and obsession may be due to one of the rare pictures of her in a carriage in front of the house. She was also like a little sprite of a woman. She was less than 5 feet tall.
Really?
She was only like
she's short.
4'9" or something. She was tiny. So it kind of it aided in that. Oh god. Really, dude? Lordy be.
But was she hot?
It was young in 1865. She was
very pretty.
She was pretty. Probably.
So she was a hot spitter.
Compared to your statement about like the Borden sisters and how homely they were, she wasn't homely.
Yeah, no, she's not. I mean, she's wearing a ridiculously conservative outfit,
which is appropriate for the time.
And her hair looks a little short, but she has a pleasant face.
She does, doesn't she?
As a young woman in 1865, I don't know what she looked like in
for a
1880s,
Victorian era spinner.
Oh.
Spinster.
So, to round out the story, I have a few specific hauntings.
Okay.
The Lady in Black is perhaps the most iconic ghostly encounter associated with the Winchester Mystery House. Witnesses have described seeing a woman dressed in black Victorian-era clothing, often with a veil obscuring her face, drifting silently through the mansion's halls and rooms. Many believe the spectral figure to be the ghost of Sarah Winchester herself. The Lady in Black is said to emanate an aura of sadness and grief, her presence adding to the eerie atmosphere of the house. Some visitors claim to have felt a sense of being watched or followed while in her presence, while others report capturing her likeness in photographs taken within the mansion. So yes, to answer your question, which
they think it's her.
I will say I really want to, though I did not get around to, seeing the Winchester movie, The Winchester, which is where Helen Mirren plays Sarah Winchester.
Oh, really? Yeah.
And which I really like her and her period pieces.
I love Dame Helen.
I have talked to some people, though, and they said that it has more of a, not even paranormal, but almost like alienish type vibe to it.
What?
Yeah, that it goes to like crazy weird encounters. Like it's not just ghosts. Like it's other things. I don't know. I didn't see it. I would like to see it. But they say that it gets pretty off in the paranormal, for sure. Okay. And I don't mean paranormal like just ghosts. Like maybe some other aspects to it. So
Bigfoot.
Maybe. Yes.
It's Bigfoot.
Squatch. The Wheelbarrow ghost, which we touched on, which would have been Clyde. He's engaged in construction work that consumed the mansion for nearly 4 decades. The ghostly figure is believed to be one of the many workers who labored. They've described him as transparent or glowing, with some claiming to have seen him vanish into thin air. And then, of course, the one that I had said earlier, where he's wearing white overalls and a Victorian boater hat. The man with the mustache, which I thought was the same guy. Apparently, this spectral figure sporting a distinctive mustache has been reported in various parts of the Winchester Mystery House. This ghostly apparition is often seen wandering the corridors or standing in doorways. Its presence both perplexing and unsettling to witnesses. While the identity of this ghost remains unknown, some speculate it could be one of the former workers or associates of the Winchester family. The man with the mustache has been captured in photographs taken by visitors, further fueling speculation about his origins and significance within the mansion's history, which I thought it was Clyde, that he was mustached and pushing a wheelbarrow. There's the children in the garden. Witnesses describe...
Always with the kids.
I know. Witnesses describe seeing apparitions of children laughing and giggling among the foliage, only for them to vanish without a trace. The presence of these spectral children has been attributed to the tragic history of the Winchester family, including the loss of Sarah Winchester's infant daughter, and the untimely deaths of other children associated with the estate. I didn't...
Who are the other children associated with
I'm not sure. I didn't read about that. So I don't know. I really don't know. The ballroom dancers. Visitors to the house have reported hearing faint music and witnessing the apparitions of a couple dancing in the ballroom even when no music is playing. These ghostly dancers are believed to be remnants of the mansion's glamorous past, when elaborate parties and social gatherings were held within its opulent halls, which I don't know that happened.
I was going to say, would that have predated the time when
it wasn't opulent? It wasn't opulent before they bought it.
Well, it was 2 stories, but I don't know.
It was only 8 rooms.
It was a farmhouse.
Yeah.
So maybe this is like when we're wanting to invent this. I don't know.
Yeah.
Opulence.
Because actually, there is a ballroom that's not completed in the house still. It hasn't been finished. Some witnesses describe feeling a chill in the air or experiencing a sense of deja vu while observing the waltz. But it's reported the people have seen it. The servant spirits, ghostly servants going about their duties within the house, add an additional layer of intrigue. They've claimed to have seen figures dressed in period clothing performing tasks such as cleaning, cooking, and serving as if they are still bound to their duties beyond the grave. There's the mysterious cries. People have reported hearing strange cries and moans echoing throughout the corridors with no apparent source. They're described as eerie and unsettling. Well, duh. If you hear cries that don't have anybody to them, it'd be unsettling.
Mm-hmm.
In 2017, the house was featured on an episode of Ghost Brothers. My favorite.
For real?
No.
Oh, who's Ghost Brothers?
Ghost Brothers. Oh my! Just they're silly.
Don't waste your time.
Don't waste your
time. There's also the Phantom Carriage. Ghostly carriage pulling up to the entrance of the house, only to vanish into thin air.
Like Borley Rectory.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. That it could perhaps serve as a spectral harbinger of misfortune or impending doom related to the tragedies of the Winchester family.
Oh, it could?
Hey,
or it could not?
You know, some people get real crazy. Apparently, lights within the house have been reported to turn on and off by themselves with no apparent explanation. So obviously there's some electricity there.
The jacked up electricity that they have in the house, the way that it's all crazy wired from what I saw in some ghost show. I can't remember if it was Taps or Ghost Adventures when I saw that, but they were talking about the crazy wiring in that place.
That sounds like something Taps would.
Yeah. Because Zach is too busy chasing demons.
Oh, you know, I did see on a Ghost Adventures House Calls episode where Zach wasn't there. It was just Billy,
that they
Jay,
actually did some decent
and Aaron
investigation.
And they got a bunch of weirdy about stuff. And the first thing he did was turn off the Wi-Fi router, turn off the electricity, kill everything.
Oh, he didn't go looking for a demon?
Well, he wasn't there.
He
was in Las Vegas over.
He didn't go looking for a demon because Zach was busy in Las Vegas?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. That makes sense.
Yeah, they actually did actual scientific stuff by turning off all that crap.
Oh, yeah.
Anything that could cause that.
So, and then, of course, you have the seance room, which, you know, she's reported to have done seances in, and they have it set up to describe, you know, what it looked like, what they think it would have looked like. But there's no proof that she ever participated in any of that. But
it's the blue room that was allegedly the seances. It was actually the gardener's bedroom.
Yeah, and then
That's just completely made up about the nightly seances.
there's so much to this house that's made up, but what we can ascertain is that whatever was wrong with her, she built a maze of a house that is, whether it be that these stairwells truly went nowhere and these doors truly opened into nothing, or if this is related to the damage made by the earthquake, what it has left is a house that is the most mysterious in terms of the rambling nature of it, the
And
different
had
intricacies.
12 million visitors?
Has had 12 million visitors.
12 million visitors.
I mean, if for no other reason, I just think old houses are cool anyway. Like, I really like them.
Did you know
Hotels, all of it.
The Winchester Mystery House was used in the 1960 Cyrus Zorba as the Cyrus Zorba house in the 1960 film, the original, not the newer one, 13 Ghosts.
Was it really?
No, I did not know that.
Yeah.
Interesting. I want to visit this house because I just want to see, like,
Yeah, it would be fun.
you go up these stairs and they go to a wall, or you look down in these windows and you will fall into a sink, or, all of these. I want to understand about how there's one way in and one way out and it's not the same way. Like, I want to know about this.
Yeah, I've always wanted to see this house.
I have too. I want to see the Hall of Fires. Like, why are there so many fireplaces and they have nowhere to go?
Yeah.
it would be, so whether it's haunted or not, which, I mean, it would make sense that it would be haunted, I suppose. Like, it's old.
Maybe Sarah.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Still
She very
hanging
well. I mean,
around.
she died there, they
Maybe
say.
she's still working on it.
Maybe. And you know what? Maybe it is the souls of the Winchester rifle. Why they're going to come find her, I don't know. But
That's horse hockey. But if you really want to stir it up, start changing some walls or something and see if Sarah starts showing up.
Oh, you know what? Because that's when, you
make
start
some
doing
make some
remodeling and
changes.
stuff. Yeah.
what they did find one time was they did open up one of the walls to do some sort of construction. They found a letter written by Sarah, and it was 110 years old or something when they found it.
Oh, wow.
It was in the wall.
What did it say? I mean,
It was something, it was writing to somebody about something about what she was doing in the house. Kind of like that letter I read to you. And they said that,
I wonder how many other little time capsules that she's left.
there would be, I don't know.
We used to do that when I was working in construction and we were building houses and stuff. We would, on the inside of the sheetrock, we would write stuff. So if anybody ever demolished it, they would find that, but it was stupid stuff like pictures of penises.
Pictures
drawn out
of
pictures
boobs
of penises
and
and
stuff.
boobs. Yeah.
Okay, so during restoration in 2019, historians discovered an envelope hidden in a wall that had been postmarked in July of 1894. The envelope contained the seal of Sarah Winchester's company, the Pacific American Decorative Company, and
Well,
a
didn't
note
know about that.
and a note that appeared to be written in Winchester's hand. The note also said Warren, $18, which may refer to a bill owed to a local laborer. The envelope helped solve a mystery and is now the secret of the staff and some historians.
Did you know that the story of the 2001 miniseries Rose Red, created by Stephen King, was inspired by the lore surrounding Sarah Winchester and the Winchester Mystery House?
I just think it's absolutely fascinating. And I would love to go there. But
I mean, San Jose's okay.
So we could,
San
Is it?
Francisco, not so much. But
so we can virtually
Jose.
tour it now, though, right?
yes, you can. And actually, there was a new room found. It's an attic space that had been boarded up and was found to house a pumping organ, a Victorian couch, and various paintings among several items.
I got a pump in organ.
I bet you do. It's now the 161st room.
I cannot believe.
Can't give me an
Because
opening.
You can. I know. Hey, listen. I was just trying to read. Okay.
You set that one right up. If he just
Sure
opened
did.
the door.
It's so funny because when you Google a pumping organ, it comes up the heart. No doubt. No doubt. So
We all have pumping organs, John. Our hearts, they all pump.
that is the story of the Winchester Mystery House.
I would go there.
I totally.
I mean, there's nice places you can go. You can just totally skip over SF. You can go. Marin is nice, just on the other side of the Golden Gate. San Jose is nice. The Monterey is close to there. You know, there's nice places you can go.
What's really interesting is
whilst avoiding the poop and homeless people and stuff in the street in San Francisco.
I saw a picture of it from the side, and there's like a all glass, new age office building.
Yeah, right next to it.
That you can see right next to it. So apparently it's not
center middle of town. Yeah,
it's not secluded anymore.
Probably
but
Google's offices.
But they've left it just as it was. So it's like this farmhouse has been, this maze of a farmhouse that's been added onto and looks kind of like a gingerbread, like Hansel and Gretel, like because it's yellow. It was originally blue.
Oh, was it?
And they repainted it to be yellow. But
yeah, I'm sure that it, like anything else, where you have the urban sprawl, that house could have been way out in the boonies.
Which is like the Dakota building.
Yeah,
when that was originally built, it was a swamp right there on Central Park West.
Yeah,
and now it's just the middle of
the city,
the Upper East Side. Yeah,
but I love that they've left it there though. That they haven't torn it down or done anything with it, because that would be so sad.
Yeah, I think
it's protected now.
I think it is a true piece of
America. It's a historical.
It's also on the California list of historical registry or so. Yeah,
I think
there's no way they're tearing that out.
Piece of Americana. You can't really get rid of it now.
You can view it online and do a tour for $8.99. You can tour the house. It's got some of those, 360 cameras. I don't think they're in all the rooms. I would love to partake in this. I have not, but I know that my cousin has, and she said at least she did during COVID, because that's the only way you could see it. So she did go on there during one of her. What'd she say? So it's really neat that you can see a lot of stuff.
That's not the kind of webcam I'd pay money for. So
no. I would like to, but I think if I can't go to California and see it myself, I'd like to go on there and see it. So,
but anyway, there would be. If you were going to make trips, there's places in California and things.
I'm going to give him saltpeter next time before we do the podcast. Oh my God!
I don't know if that works. Does it? I don't know.
I don't know.
Can you consume saltpeter, or are you just supposed to soak your feet in it?
No.
I don't even know what the hell y'all are talking about.
Saltpeter, which is also part of gunpowder?
No.
Black powder?
No.
Yes, it is.
Is it?
Yes, it is. Look it up. I wouldn't lie to you. And it also causes impotence. Or at least they assumed that it did.
Yeah, they used to.
Gunpowder.
It's part of gunpowder, John.
Common food preservative and additive, fertilizer and oxidizer for fireworks and rockets.
Yeah.
Potassium nitrate, which is saltpeter, charcoal, and sulfur. You're right.
Yeah. And it's
mostly saltpeter, actually.
Why are you going to give it to him?
Well, no, it's supposed to make you not.
Oh, I see.
Yeah. So maybe
you just said impotence. I got you.
Reduce his libido.
I've heard that too. I don't know if there's any actual truth to that.
I don't think it would, though. I think his brain is just wired that way. So anytime you give him open like a pumping organ, he's going to make a reference to pumping his fist or something. I don't know.
I'm sure. Alrighty, and what did you drink today?
What did I drink? Ugadal.
Sir, what did you drink before you got some Ugadal too?
Albert
Feldy.
Albert Feldy.
12.
I was drinking Ardbeg 10. Yes.
It was very good.
It was good. Alrighty.
That was very good.
Everybody? Nope. Gotta tell them where they can find us.
Oh.
You know what? I was just ready to go. Good night. Okay. So if you are listening on the podcast and you would like to see us on YouTube, go to 3B Paranormal-Spirits on YouTube. Right down here, there's a button that says subscribe. And if you can't find that one, there's a white one that's going to look kind of like that right there. And it's going to be on John's arm, very near John's arm. And you just click on that and you can subscribe to us. If you want to see us on Instagram, TikTok, or X, go to paranormal_URL. dash spelled out DASH _ spirits. I'm going to put it right there. Maybe I'll put it there. I'll put it above John. And that way you can look at it and you can type it out in your Instagrams. If you go to our website at paranormal-spirits.com, you can go to all of our social media. You can also go to our Facebook page, which is Booze with Benefits. And you can go to our swag store where you can pick up our boozy koozies like John's got on his water bottle over there. Or you can pick up a dad cap or a trucker cap or a coffee mug or a coffee cup or Racerback tees.
You need to get that boozy blanket I was talking about.
We could probably make some boozy blankets for you if you ask for it. And we'll hook you up. Mm-hmm. But that's all the places you can find us. If you do find us on YouTube, like and subscribe. You got to feed that algorithm monster. Mm-hmm. All right. Did I miss anything or did I get everything?
Nope.
I'm getting to where I do this really fast at the end.
You do.
That's only for the people that listen all the way through, though. Nobody else has to go through that, right?
That's true. That's true.
Y'all have a good night.
Nighty night.
Bye.
That sounded so sad.